Uh, Welcome to Sports Politicking Presents Agree to Disagree. Thank you for joining us. As always, we appreciate your time. You can catch us on Facebook, Sports Politicking Presents Agree to Disagree, and on Twitter at Sports Politicking. Feel free to catch us on any of those. Message us. We'll respond back. Give us your thoughts. Maybe it can turn into something we talk about in the next show. We're going to kick off with introductions. I'm Alan Hinton. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. From Chesapeake, Virginia. You can find me on Twitter at AFlash79.
I'm Leonard Lynch Jr., originally out of Killeen, Texas, currently residing in Houston, Texas. You can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Lynch Jr. Hit us up at the Sports Politicking.
I'm man John Turner from living currently in Chesapeake, Virginia via Newport News. You can follow me on Twitter at Everybody Loves John, ERBODY, Loves John, at Luke Cage. Great show, by the way. And speaking of things that have been great in sports, or maybe not so much, I guess depends on your perspective, is Russell Westbrook. And I'm going to talk about the narrative that is currently surrounding Russell Westbrook and his revenge tour now that Durant's in Golden State. Let me start off first by saying I'm a huge Russell Westbrook fan. I love his game. I love the strides that he's made towards becoming a pure point guard for the purists, those who want traditional point guards. Russell Westbrook will never be that, but he's made great strides. What I have an issue with is the narrative that's surrounding him about his revenge tour and how that translates to him possibly winning the MVP. In the beginning of the year, well, not the beginning of the year, but after the finals, I said that the front runners for the MVP, not necessarily who I think should win, who I think has the best chance to win, were Russ, Westbrook, and LeBron. LeBron has his own reasons, but Russ was because, and the narrative had already started, and I hate narratives more than anything in sports. So the narrative that started was Russ is going to put up these insane numbers, and these insane numbers are going to help him win the MVP. Now, for those who know about how the MVP is voted, you generally have to be on a great team, at least top four. The last person to win it, and they were with not 1, 2, or 3, I believe it was Karl Malone when he won over Jordan in 97, 98. The last few have been within 1, 2, or 3, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't think that OKC, a lot would have to go right for them to win. And I feel like the narrative has won people MVPs before. Steve Nash, Derrick Rose, sorry, Allen Iverson. And I say that as a person from Newport News. And again, I love him, but he didn't deserve that MVP. And I feel like this narrative is so far out of control, it doesn't really matter what he does. Personally, if you create the most value for your team, you should win. I don't think Russ Westbrook is going to be able to sustain this all year. They've barely beaten the teams that they've won, and they've all been bad teams. So if they're going to be consistent with how they've given MVP out, don't follow the narrative and follow who's on the winning team. Me personally, if he's the most deserving, then he should get it, regardless of team record. But I feel like that narrative has started, and because of the narrative, he's going to get the MVP independent of what the previous standards were set. And I don't think that it would be anything of them finally growing up and saying, well, this standard has been stupid the entire time. I think they would just give it to him based on the standard that was set.
So my thoughts on the Russell Westbrook narrative, whenever I hear about it, when I hear about that narrative, I hear about, how he's going to take over and prove that he was better than Kevin Durant, didn't need Kevin Durant, whatever the case may be, and that will end in an MVP. I kind of agree with you in that the narrative is false. I'm not going to get into who was better. I think everybody knows I'm a big Kevin Durant fan. But I think they played relatively well off each other, especially in the last couple of years as Russ started to create more, like you said, took steps towards being a more pure point guard. I can't say pure point guard because I don't think he'll ever be one. But one of the things that you kind of talked about, but not really in depth, was last year when he was by himself, when Durant got hurt, he put up numbers like this, and they still lost games. I don't always like that the MVP has to come from a good team, but as you pointed out, the teams that they beat just have not been good, and they've been close games. So if he's putting up triple doubles every night and this team wins 34, 38 games, now I'm not predicting it, I'm just saying if they win 34, 38 games, I don't see how you could give him an MVP, even if he does have a historic season. I also wonder, with this style of play, how he's playing and how long he's got to do it, if he's going to be able to play 82 games. I can't see him finishing this whole season. And if something happens and he gets hurt this season, that team's going to fall apart. And I think that obviously that helps his Hall of Fame, no, not Hall of Fame, his All-Star chances, or at least the conversation by it. But I don't think he's going to do enough, consistently enough, to really warrant it. Now, if they make the playoffs at all, like I don't even think they need to be a top 3 seed. If they make the playoffs at all with him playing like this, I think you have to give him the MVP. I just really can't see that happening. I would love for it to. I like the fact he decided to stay. I like the loyalty and all of that, but
don't do that.
But it would be nice to see him get it just as a reward for that. And you know how much the NBA and sports these days in general loves that kind of story. I just can't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm actually, I guess, somewhat in agreement with you because, well, this is Turner's first. Everybody agreed. Only thing was keeping time, 5 minutes.
Now y'all want to agree.
But I agree from the standpoint of it's pushed a little bit too much. The thing that I see him doing is what he's doing now is what he did when Kevin Durant was there. Mm-hmm. It's on a higher scale now because he's the only one there. With Kevin Durant, the times Kevin Durant got hurt, the times Kevin Durant went down, he triple-double tears, and people are like, oh, my God, look at him. He's a viable candidate. But can he keep it up when Kevin Durant comes back? And, of course, because he has to give up shots, because he has to give up the ball to Kevin Durant because he's a superstar in his own right. So that hindered him somewhat. But I think now all we're going to see is that same guy just for 82 games. Well, not 82. I don't think he stays healthy for a full year. But that's what we're going to see out of him. And if it gets him the MVP candidacy, then so be it, because his numbers speak alone, even without the narrative. If he's averaging 25, 26 points a game with 10 points and 7, 8 boards, why wouldn't he be an MVP candidate? I mean, who else is going to, other than LeBron, which I think he's going to have a down year anyway. Other than LeBron, who else is going to put up numbers like that? So I think his off-sheer numbers, he could win it if he does what people think he's going to do. And it's not so much based off the narrative as it is his stats and what he's done. I just want to see what you got to say about that, Turner.
I just feel like the narrative is going to get completely out of control, especially like one of the triple doubles, he shot 17 for 44.
Yeah.
I don't really like y'all know my long-term stance on triple doubles. I think they're highly overrated. Highly overrated. And I don't think 10, 10, and 10 is better than 29, 8, and 8, but 10, 10, and 10 is a triple double. And I'm not saying Westbrook's has some efficient triple doubles. So I'm not saying all triple doubles are created equally. I just think if we look at the term triple double as a standalone term, it overrates the value of what it is. Because if you get 28 points on 50% shooting with 9 rebounds and 9 assists, is that really better than 28 points on 40% shooting with that? Again, I just can't. I don't like where the narrative is going. Again, if he's deserving of the MVP, if his numbers, y'all know I'm a numbers guy, if his numbers and his impact on his team, regardless of team record, suggests he should be the MVP, I'm all for it. But I don't think this one-man tour de force is going to have the impact necessary.
Yeah. As I said earlier, I don't see him being able to keep it up for the whole season. But if he does and make the playoffs, you got to give it to him. But I just don't see a guy who's got to take 40 shots a game. And I don't think he took 40 shots just because it was an anomaly. I think that's really what they need. I don't see a secondary scorer. I don't trust Oladipo at all. I like Steven Adams, but he's not at this point an offensive player. There's nobody there with him that can carry the load offensively. So he's got to be the one to take the shots. I don't think this will be his only 40-point game of the season, as much as I hate to say it, because I hate point guards taking more than 20 shots a game. But he's got to if they're even going to have a chance to win games.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. I think where he took those 44 shots is because who else is going to take those shots? You don't have, and I think most thing people focus on is that they lost Kevin Durant, but they also lost Serge Ibaka. So guys are gone now. So he's taking over both of their shots because you're going to trust Steven Adams to take Serge Ibaka's shots and Oladipo to take Kevin Durant shots? Nah, you're going to give it to Russ. So I think the reason why he's going to be taking so many shots, attempting so many shots, is because they have nobody else. They essentially have nobody else. And Oladipo is just a poor man's Russell Westbrook. So, I mean, it's two of the same guy. So that's all they have to rely on at this moment. I agree with that. The narrative is a little too much. I think it's a more anxiousness by everyone just to see how crazy he can go. Interesting. But I don't think he can do it for a whole season.
Either that or Oladipo is a rich man's Deion Waiters, one or the other.
Oh, God. Deion Waiters gets no airtime on this. Nope.
I'm just saying, man, he's starting in Miami now.
Like, Miami is bereft of talent.
So is OKC.
Hey, man, leave my team alone. Leave my team alone.